We have another flashlight review, and it's going to be the Nitecore MH12S. So this is a pretty large flashlight, and at first sounds like probably similar to other flashlights out there, but they have actually put together a really good combination of features that make this a much more appealing package. So let's go ahead and dig right in. Let's start with the body of the flashlight itself. So you're going to have a side switch, but it doesn't do anything unless you've already activated the light. It is made of an aluminum body, and this is going to be ideal for heat dissipation, but also keeping it really light. So that's just the best material for flashlights in general, aluminum. You have 3 positions for the pocket clip, and you can reverse it if need be. Now, I think this might be a little too heavy for a hat, but it is there and available if that's something you want to do. Now, speaking of the tail, there is a lanyard slot right here, and we have a proud mechanical switch, which is ideal for this type of flashlight. And we'll get into the type of flashlight a little bit later on. Now, hardware. Let's continue with the emitter itself. So cool white, it's going to produce a maximum output of 1800 lumens. And that's going to also have 21,000 candela, so both intense and bright at the same time. And it can go as low as 1 lumen, running for a truly obscene amount of time. In fact, it looks to me that 1,500 hours might be way more than we would ever need it to run. But at the 50 lumen mark, it still runs for 45 hours. So that's really, really, really impressive that it's able to run for just so long. Now, this is using the 21700 battery. But one of the things that I think is really, really nice about this flashlight, and all comes in the box, is it has this little sleeve. Now, this sleeve will not only let you use the 18650, which is a smaller battery, but you might have more of them lying around. It will also let you use 2 CR123 batteries. Those are the disposable lithium metal batteries you can find in the grocery store. And it will also let you use rechargeable CR123 batteries. And those are the RCR123s. They run at 3.7 volts, a little bit higher, in fact, than the normal CR123. And you can use those in series. So, really good versatility on this flashlight. And then on top of it, you're also going to get access to this little clipped sheath. Now, I don't think it's designed to go head down, but it does function head down if you want it to. And it also goes tail down as well. And I think that's probably the way it's supposed to go. That way you don't accidentally activate the light. You can pull it out right away and use it when necessary. It also comes with a lanyard. It comes with spare O-ring, and there you go. That's pretty much what you're going to get in the box, and the 21700 battery that is a protected cell. So it is recommended that you use protected 18650 as well. All right, so now with all that, let's get into the part that is always the make or break for me when it comes to flashlights and whether I can recommend them or not. And that has to do with the user interface. If I have 2 buttons, I expect a good user interface, not a decent or okay user interface. If you have 2 buttons, you can make something work really, really well. Now, thankfully, the one more important aspect of this light, like the defensive aspect, that part has been met. And so I actually have it in the quote-unquote tactical mode right now. And what I like about this mode is I know that when I press this button, I'm going to get the maximum output of 1800 lumens. So if I click it, turn it on, I can then cycle through using the side switch. It'll go down from the 1800 lumens, and it'll go down to even 1 lumen there. And then let's say I go down to here. If I turn it off, turn it back on, it will only ever remember the turbo. So turbo and strobe are the only 2 modes that will actually be remembered with this flashlight. All the others basically work only when it's on, and then when you turn it off, it always resets back to turbo. That mode set is fantastic, and I love it. So that part is great. Now, that being said, they could really improve this light if they found a way to make it so that you could hold press the side switch for some amount of time, like say 3 seconds, to get the 1 lumen mode, and only the 1 lumen mode. That would be phenomenal if they could do that as well, because sometimes even if I leave it in the tactical mode set, it would be nice to be able to just quickly look at something in the dark without having to blow out my vision first. Now, knowing that it is turbo, I can always just turn it on and then cycle through and turn it all the way down. But, you know, that's a bit of a hassle, right? If you go to the daily mode, which what you do is you hold this on the side to switch modes, and then you press, and you do that for 3 seconds. It'll blink once to indicate daily mode. It'll blink twice to indicate tactical mode. So now, if I cycle through, like let's say right here, turn it off, it'll come in on that mode, right? It just memorizes whatever mode I had selected. Pretty standard user interface. I still would love to have seen the ability to access Moonlight directly so that I can always do whatever I memorize plus the Moonlight, right? Like, it just seems like it could have done more, but as long as the tactical mode works the way it does, I'm really not too concerned. In fact, I would probably always just leave this in the tactical setup. And that's kind of flashlight that this is. That's the kind of thing that I'm expecting from this light. So that's really what my choice would be. So I'm going to hold press like this, and then it'll blink twice, 1, 2, and now is in tactical mode. And it actually automatically turns on, and now I get 1800 lumens whenever I press that tail switch. So not much more to say here. Good stats on this light. Nice versatility with different power and, you know, options. Decent option to also have a sheath. That's nice. Not necessarily something I would use, but great. It's not too big. It's not too big. It's certainly pocketable. It's got the fact that I can adjust the depth depending on how much of it I want exposed, which is great. It has a exposed tail switch, no lockout, as far as I can tell on this flashlight. But because it is such a long press and a firm press, I'm not super worried about turning it on accidentally. What I suggest you do is simply do what's called mechanical lockout, and now nothing will occur. No, that very, very small turn is all that is necessary. Look at how little. That's it. That's all it takes to turn off the light, and it will no longer work. So if you leave this in a bag, just make sure to use mechanical lockout and you won't have any issues. Not much more needs to be said about this. The MH12S. Super simple operation. Could pretty much give it to anyone, but in my opinion, this is going to be served best in its tactical setup. Just 1800 lumens of monstrous power coming at you. That's the way I would leave it personally. And I gotta say, I like it. I like it a lot. I like that it is versatile in the power choices. And yeah, it's just going to be a good, reliable flashlight. Enough said. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk again soon.